Guess they're going to be quiet. Hebrews 12 and 1. Oh, how you doing, Shanti? Right. Okay. Hebrews 12 and 1. Let's go on and look at it. Let's see what it says. I just want you to remember, let's say, remember now, this thing is a marathon, it ain't a sprint. Say, wherefore, seeing we are also compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. Sometimes that's what some of the biggest issue for a lot of people be. They don't want to set aside that weight and that sin that's holding them back. A lot of stuff just be holding you back, and you keeping it with you, and you holding on to it, and it's dragging you down, and you're not able to run the race. When you sit back and you look at track and field people, no matter which part of track that they participate in, they always try to get the lightest shoes, you know what I'm saying, the lightest, you know what I'm talking about, apparel, so they can have a faster time. Because I don't need no extra weight holding me back. And the things that we were talking about earlier on the Sabbath, the thing that you hold on to, the sins that you keeping, can easily beset you. Look at Psalm 17, like we read earlier. It can easily beset you. And you know what beset me? I mean, it hold you back. It stop you. And it stop you from getting where you need to be. Is Psalm 17 what I want? Or was it 19? It's 19. Psalms 19. Verse 12. Listen what he said. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. Now let's come over here to Psalm 119. This man said, now who can understand his errors? Now you wouldn't be able to understand your error till you know the way of Yah. He said, I would not have known sin if it had not been for the law. For I would not have known lust unless the law said thou shalt not covet. But see, some of y'all got secret faults. You know what that means, is secret faults? It don't mean that you got faults which you don't know about, like some of these stupid Hebrew niggas be talking about. So you got secret faults you don't even know about. No. Like he tell you that he'll manifest the secrets of men, manifest the secrets of a man's heart. That's why he said the word of God is sharper than a two-edged sword, dividing asunder to the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. See, some of y'all got stuff you be doing or have done that you don't want nobody to know about. You understand what I'm saying? See, that's what they're talking about. How many of y'all done heard a Hebrew nigga tell you, see, you got secret faults, brother. See, you got sins you don't even know about. That make any sense to anybody? You got faults and sins you don't even know about? So you mean to tell me I'm just living a life, I don't know what I'm doing, where I'm going? I just got sin on me. I don't know where it comes from. Psalm 119, probably about verse 9. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. With my whole heart have I sought thee. O let me not wander from thy commandments. Thy word have I hid in my heart, that I might not sin against thee. See, that's the thing that be messing y'all up. As we looked at last night, about meditating in the man's word and giving yourself wholly over to it. That means you hid this man's word in your heart. See, Yahshua made a statement to those people that I know that my Father has given me a commandment, and his commandment is life everlasting. See, the man had hid his word in his heart. That's why he say the just shall live by his faith. That's the same thing that Abraham did. Their faith in God is what directed them, and that word abided in them. See, they didn't sit back and look at the word didn't escape from them. There wasn't no lapse or I forget, I don't remember. See, this is why he said he would hide his word in your heart. Come over here to John 14, verse 26. This is why Yahshua made the statement that he made. Because according to receiving this here, this is how you would be able to be made new. Make it 25. No, 26 is better. No, 25. Oh, Lord. 25. John 14. These things have I spoken unto you, being yet present with you. But the Comforter, which is the Ruach HaKodesh, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I said unto you. Now we know the new covenant is the word dwelling in your heart. Look at Galatians 3 and 1. Now if the word is in your heart, then that's what's going to direct you and move you. See, a lot of the times the reason why y'all slip and you do stuff and that you ain't got no business and this, that, there, and the other is because you have not allowed the word to maintain and retain in your heart. See, we're going to look at something, it's going to direct us to Abraham, because we're going to be springboarding on what we heard Paul say in Romans 11 last night about emulating him that he might save a few. Because we read last night how the Lord said, hey, everybody ain't going to make it in a straight gate. Many going to seek to go therein, but few going to find it. And sometimes y'all get so worried about getting caught up with people and wanting them to hear and wanting them to know. Man, everybody can't enter into this gate. Only because everybody is not willing to do what's required. Everybody don't have that belief and hope in God as you would want them to have. And then at the same time, some of y'all don't have the same faith and hope in God, and you trying to impart that on another person. And you think that that person cannot see that you really don't trust and hope in God like you claim you do. Because y'all be forgetting everybody. If you once you open your mouth and say, man, I'm a Jew, I'm a Hebrew, I'm an Israelite, I believe in Yahshua, I keep God's commandments, now all eyes going to be on you. Everybody attention and focus is on you. Because they actually want to see, are you really about this? Is this nigga just talking? O foolish Galatians, who have bewitched you that you should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Yahshua HaMashiach have been evidently set forth, crucified among you? This only what I learned of you. Receive ye the Spirit by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith? Are ye so foolish, having begun in the Spirit, are you made perfect by the flesh? Have you suffered so many things in vain, if it be yet in vain? He therefore that minister you the Spirit and work miracles among you, do he do it by the works of the law or by the hearing of faith? Now he just asked him a question. He said, did the miracles come because of the law, because you kept commandment, or because you believed him? How many times did he go to those people and work miracles on them and it was because of their keeping of the commandments? Well, let's look and see. Let's look and see. Let's look at Matthew chapter 8 real fast. Let's look and see. And after that, we can look in the book of Joshua. Actually, it's Matthew chapter 9. Pardon me. Verse 1. And after that, we can go look in the book of Joshua. Let's see if this miracle he worked with Joshua, did it come by faith or did it come by the law? Because when we look at Joshua, was Joshua made perfect to be able to enter the land with Caleb because of the works of the law or because they believed? I guess we can look at Numbers 14 and see. I think we'll do that as well. So get Numbers 14 on your agenda as well. And he entered into a ship and passed over and came into his own city. And behold, they brought to him a man sick of palsy, laying on a bed. And Yahshua, seeing their faith, said unto the sick of the palsy, Son, be of good cheer. Thy sins be forgiven thee. And let's see what happened. And behold, certain of the scribes said within themselves, This man blasphemed. Now hold on. Let me read Romans 11 to you real fast. They say this man blasphemed. What is it? Romans 11 by verse 14. Now let's see what Paul said here in Romans 11 verse 14. If by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them. Now when Paul say those are those who of his flesh, who is he referred to? Romans 9 and 1 then. I say the truth in the Messiah, I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Ruach HaKodesh, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I wish that myself were accursed from the Messiah for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to who pertain the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of God and the promises. Come back to Matthew chapter 9. So when we sit back and we look at Paul saying he hoped to move those by his who are of his flesh to emulation, he was talking to Gentiles. He was talking about, I'm hoping that if I imitate the Lord, this will provoke my brethren to do the same. You got to remember who he writing to. He wouldn't say to provoke them to emulation who are of his flesh if he were talking to Israelites. That makes no sense. He just would have said, I want you brothers to emulate me. But when he made that be known to those who are of his flesh, he told me, I want my kinsmen, I want Israelites to do it. I want you to imitate me because I'm imitating the Son. And if you're imitating the Son, then guess who you imitating? The Father. That's what these dudes be missing when they thinking if you deal with Yahshua, you cutting the Father out the loop. No, you're not. You only think that because you're stupid. That go back to what I was telling y'all back when I was talking about, hey, I have a son. A man gonna want his son to be as much like him as possible. That's why they get the term, the apple don't fall from the tree and all that good stuff. You want your son to be like you. You want him to have the same mentality, same outlook. That you sit back and look at most men, if their daddy was a carpenter, they try to teach their son that trade. Or if they got a family business, they usually want their son to work in that business. And they get upset if their son don't want to do it. I remember what it just come to my mind, what it was, an episode of Full House one time. What, a dude with the long hair dude? Thought he was fresh. I think his daddy owned an extermination business. But he wanted to be a musician. You know what I'm talking about? And it was hard to him because he didn't tell Pop, I don't want to do the family business. I want to do this. You know, even when you sit back and look at that show that them niggas, the Empire show them niggas going crazy about, what is it about? It's about a man trying to groom his sons to take over the family business. Because that's how a man look at it. A man want to build something up so I can give it to my sons. That stuff that them niggas were going crazy about, what Dame was talking about, that's all Dame Dad was talking about. Building something up so you can give it to your son. That's book though. Man said man is blessed to leave an inheritance unto his sons. Remember we read in the law when the women came to say to y'all, well, what if our daddy ain't got no sons? Who get the inheritance? And he said they said right. Because a man want to have to be able to lead to his son. Now, whether his son be wise or whether his son be a fool, that's a whole nother matter. But I want to be able to lead something to him. When you sit back and you look at it, that's what the father did with Yahshua. I got an inheritance to give to my son. That's how stupid and retarded these dudes is that they can't even sit back and see. If this man saying he's a father, that means everything that's fashioned, it was for him. When you sit back and people be like, man, I work all these hours, I do all this stuff. I'm doing it for my son. You think a lot of these men go out here and work the way they work and do the stuff they do just because I love to do it? Some do. Most of them, I'm doing it for my son. They might have a daughter and they be like, I'm going hard for my children. But let him have a son. It don't diminish his daughters, but let him have a son. But I'm doing it for my boy. I'm doing it for my boy. It's that serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, all I had is a sister, then she done had 2 girls, and now we got a nephew coming. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas gonna ride for him. Man, I hope to God this nigga here spit out a boy first. I'm talking about he gonna be a fly nigga, then he ain't gonna be no joke. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga come out the womb, get that nigga some cloths and give him a fitted head. Put a Bible in his hand. You know what I'm talking about? You hope to groom him so he can take over the family business, preaching the word of family business. You read in the book about these were the sons of the prophets. How many times y'all done read in the scripture say the sons of the prophets? Take over the family business. Hold on. Luke chapter 2. Some of y'all wasn't on here. Luke 2 and 49. Some of y'all wasn't on here when I was talking about that. About a woman don't view certain behavior in a son the same way a man view it when he see his son doing it. A man gonna be upset he see his son as a crybaby. A man gonna be upset if he see his son following up his mama behind. Y'all look at it as, that's my baby, he just a baby. A man look at it as, that nigga a coward. He ain't, and not just a punk on being no homosexual, but not somebody willing to stand his own and stand his ground and handle his business. He could mess around and be less than a man. I got to nip that in the bud. Because, son, you got to be able to stand on your own too, son. You can't sit back and cry because you don't have your way or things don't go to how you want it. You a man, you suck it up and you keep on pushing. All that crying and all this here because you don't get your way. Boy, you ain't got no vagina between your legs. You stand up to people, boy, you better get some act right. Well, you know how a man feel if his son old enough to stand up and pee, he catch that nigga sitting on the toilet urinating, I might kill this nigga. That nigga 11 years old sitting on the toilet. What you? What? Stand up, nigga. You know what? You know what I'm talking about? I'm for real though. A man don't care nothing about his son loving his mama, but there has to be a certain point in time. All right now, son. All right now. Leave your mama alone. Get from up under. That's what I was telling y'all earlier. If the daddy ain't with you, you ain't around him on a regular basis, you better learn to tell much nigga, you better get from up under me. You ain't got to be mean to him. I mean, you ain't got. I mean, as a woman, you ain't got to be mean to him and be like. But every night you gotta let him know though. Look here, son. You need to go over there now. You can't be up under me. I be telling y'all this all the time. Talk to them kids like they grown. They understand. They know what you're saying. They not stupid. They get it fully. Just like what you seen today. I said, boy, don't you swing that stick like that before you hit it. That nigga just say, you know what? I'm gonna just drop the whole stick. I didn't say you couldn't play with the stick. I just said, watch it. He said, you know what? I'm just not remembering. You know what I'm talking about? You see, I talk to Kings like a grown man, don't he? He get it too, don't he? Come on out of here. Talk to them kids like they grown. Don't talk to them like no baby, like they don't get it, like they stupid. Let that nigga know. Look here, boy, what's wrong with you? Care nothing about you being two. You remember that conversation. You think Leah didn't remember? You think Leah didn't know? Well, I want nothing. You know what's going on. You testing me. I'm going to let you know I know what you're doing. I love you. I don't love you that much. Yeah, if you'd have seen it live, you'd have seen what he was in the house tripping when it happened. Just like today. She had that crayon. I said, don't you write with that crayon. That same crayon right there on the floor. And I say, go put that crayon up. This nigga drop it on the floor and look at me like, nigga, what? I said, pick that crayon up off that floor. Now I was texting somebody. I said, you need to pick that crayon up off that floor. Oh, so you think I'm playing? Went right across her behind. She was shocked. I don't know what you think this is. I said, this nigga testing me live and in person. Don't think I won't go across her dome piece. Little you know, I love you. I don't love you that much. Yeah, she threw it down. And then looked at me. It was a what nigga, all right. When that butt went to warming. You got to do that, though. You got to do them little boys like that. You don't want the little boy sitting up on their mama like that. Because you know what ended up happening? He'll go up, growing up, looking for a woman to sit up under, take care of him all his life. He'll be looking for another mama. He'll be looking for the woman he dealing with to do what his mama did. Take care of him. Then you have an old man champion on your couch in this boxer farting all the time. always what you doing. Same way. Now you know that nigga get up and go work. Same way what Ron was doing. You know what I'm talking about? When it came down to actually doing stuff he needed to do, did he want to do it or he looked for you to do it? But guess where that had to come from? Like that nigga thought it was a game when Mom Duke came and told him, look here son, I love you now, but by July 4th, your black boy gotta get out of here. That nigga ain't know what to do. Now he gone, he like this, he just a drunk. Just a drunk. Yeah, baby boy is here, but you know what I'm saying? Just a drunk. Just a drunk. You know what I'm telling you, man, men know where that road gonna lead. Same way if you got cousins or brothers on, you know the niggas crazy, nobody do this up. Don't you take my son around them niggas. Because Because I don't want them niggas learning none of that stuff. Don't you take them niggas around there, man. Them niggas like to drink and do this here. Don't you take my son over there. That's why, man, don't like his son. Don't be around here. I'll be telling y'all, man, sometimes, man, y'all got little boys. Man, don't always be taking them when you go hang out with your girlfriends. Your son's always around women. That's why them nigga little boys be grow up and they have feminine attributes. Because you have one around women all the time. Y'all think they don't pick up on that stuff. Better find them somewhere where some little boys at. Let them go around there. Before you come home, that nigga had doodle stains in the drawer. You wonder what's going on. Your son a rump ranger. And you say you come in the house, well, I always see teeth marks in his pillows. After a while, you'll figure it out. I'm telling you. Luke 2:49. He said unto them, how is it that you sought me? Wish ye not that I must be about my Father's business? See, y'all sure let it be known. He told Mary and Joe, what you mean, what you looking for me? You ain't know? I got to be about the family business. See, the family business is this word. I'm about that. That's what he was telling them. What? This man 12 years old. Mom Duke still don't know what he's talking about. He said, man, I'm about the family business. What you mean you looking for me? Come on back, Matthew chapter 9. We still going to shoot around there to number 14 in Joshua. I think it's about Joshua 8, but I'll see when we get around there. But them people said he blasphemed. Now, why would these people say he blasphemed? Because he just said he about his father's business. So why would these people say he blasphemed? Not just that. Look what he told the man. Look at verse 2 again. Son, be of good cheer. Thy sins have been forgiven of thee. Good people turn around and say, he blasphemed. He just said he was God. Well, let's see what the words say in Numbers chapter 14. Let's just see what his father do. Numbers 14 and 18. He said, Yah is long-suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. So now we sit back and look at something then, don't we? We see that Yahshua about his father's business. He emulating his father. His father forgives sin. He say, I forgive it too. But what we see with this man, go back to Matthew 9, what we see with this man being healed by was not by works of the law, but by faith. When we sit back and we look at the Passover, that wasn't no work of no law. That was by faith. If you believe that you put this blood on the doorpost of your house, I'll pass over you. Because there was no law for Passover. That was a sign and wonder and miracle when they were in Egypt. That was the last plague. See, then he came back later and gave us an ordinance on keeping it, didn't he? After he told them what to do, he said, now y'all will keep this as a memorial unto me forever in your generations. But was the Passover given by law or by faith? Because if you didn't do it, you were going to perish. Which means you just didn't believe. You had to believe that this man was going to do what he said he was going to do. Which turn back, when we come back and look at Yahshua, you would have had to believe that he was who he said he was for the destroyer to pass over you when he spilled his blood. You would immerse yourself in the doorpost of it. Well, let's look at this here. And Yahshua, knowing their thoughts, said, verse 4 of the Matthew the 9th chapter, wherefore think ye evil in your hearts? For whether is it easier to say, thy sins be forgiven thee, or to say, arise and walk? That ye may know that the Son of Man hath power on earth to forgive sins. Then saith he to the sick of the palsy, arise, take up thy bed, and go unto thine house. You see how the Lord played that there? He told the man when he seen his faith, your sins been forgiven you. When them niggas went and talked greasy, he looked at them and said, would it have been easier for me to say this or say that? But so you niggas can know I got the authority to forgive sins. I'm about my Father's business. I say his sins be forgiven. Then he turned at the man after he told him that. Get your bed and go. That's powerful right there. Y'all don't know how serious. You understand how serious that is? That I already told this man, your sins been forgiven me. I seen your faith. You healed. And this nigga over here blaspheming in his heart now. Because let's see again, he emulating his father. Ezekiel chapter 11, he imitating his father. So that's what it is. Ezekiel 11:5. He said, and the Spirit of Yah fell upon me, and said unto me, Speak, thus saith Yah, thus have ye have said, O house of Israel, for I know the things that come into your mind, every one of them. So again, he emulated his father. He perceived their thoughts. How else would he be able to perceive their thoughts unless he would about his father's business, unless he imitate them? He got to imitate his father. To me, everything his father do, he got to do too, though. That man just sat back around and just did that. He said, I want to let y'all know that I got the authority to do it, so you niggas know. That's serious right there. Let them know, don't play with me, nigga. While you running your mouth. Them people, and the average Israelite won't even know. Why would these people say he was blaspheming if he wasn't God? Because only God got power to forgive sins. Go to the book of Joshua. Only God got power to forgive sins, and he just sat back and told him he had that authority. Let me see what it is. Joshua 12. Lord, can you help me out with a fan there, sir? Can you help me out? Huh? Just want you to help me out there. Can you help me out, sir? I might have a heat stroke, man. I don't want to fall out and die in your living room. You might have to give me mouth to mouth, then I'd rather die. Huh? You ain't got nothing strong enough. Mess around and breathe, we all gonna die.
That's not nice. I was gonna fan your butt one night.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be nice. It was supposed to be funny.
Burn.
Okay then. So you find that funny? You find that funny? We're gonna burn you. Get my lighter. I got a butane lighter too. You know what's crazy? See a nigga got a lighter, don't smoke. Y'all ever been around a nigga talking about, boy, I need a lighter. Nigga pull out a lighter, he don't smoke. He say, what this nigga got a lighter for? End up finding out later, nigga smoke crack. You used to walk around with a lighter. I know you used to smoke cigarettes. I think you did. I'm just messing with you. I know you ain't smoking no cigarette. If you did, you gotta get away from me. Let's look at 2 Kings chapter 20. Probably about verse 9. We come back to the book of Joshua. Yep. Trying to remember that is. It's in my head. Can't remember where it's at. Well, let's look at a miracle that came by faith and not by the back me up here to about verse 5. Make it 3. There we go. That's what I want. And I beseech thee, O Yah, remember now I have walked before thee in truth with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. And it came to pass that before Isaiah was going out into the middle court, that the word of Yah came to him, saying, Turn again, and tell Hezekiah, the captain of my people, Thus saith Yah, the God of David thy father, I have heard thy prayer, I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will heal thee, and on the 3rd day thou shalt go up unto the house of Yah. And I will add unto thy days 15 years, and I will deliver thee in this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria, and I will defend this city for my own sake, and for my servant David's sake. And Isaiah said, Take a lump of figs, and they took and laid it on the boil, and he recovered. And Hezekiah said unto Isaiah, What shall be the sign that Yah will heal me, and that I shall go up into the house of Yah the 3rd day? Isaiah said, This sign shalt thou have of Yah, that Yah will do the thing that he hath spoken. Shall the shadow go forward 10 degrees, or go back 10 degrees? And Hezekiah answered, It is a light thing for the shadow to go down 10 degrees, but let the shadow return backwards 10 degrees. And Isaiah the prophet cried unto Yah, and he brought the shadow 10 degrees backwards, by which it had gone down in the dial of Ahaz. So now we sit back and look at, was Hezekiah healed because of works of the law or by his faith? By his faith. By his faith. He said he would make the sun go backwards 10 degrees. Let's look at Joshua chapter 2. Make it about verse 6. Ooh-wee. Now water helped out a little bit. I already see what we're going to have you doing. I'm going to make you have a little fan and feed me grapes. And I don't want no stems in my grapes.
Hear that? Nick.
None. I'm talking about, and I like only red grapes. No white grapes, no green grapes, red grapes. Seedless. I find a seed, it's going to be a problem. Tell you now. No seeds. Verse 6 though. And the men of Gibeon sent unto Joshua to the camp of Gilgal, saying, Slack not thy hand from thy servants. Come up to us quickly and save us, help us, for all the king of the Amorites that dwell in the mountains are gathered together against us. So Joshua ascended from Gilgal, and all the people of war with him, and all the mighty men of valor. So hold on. What y'all think that could be referring to? See, we can back it up now. Let's just back it up. Look at verse 1 so y'all can see what's going on. Now it came to pass, when Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, had heard how Joshua had taken Ai, and had utterly destroyed it, as he done to Jericho and her king, so had he done to Ai and her king, and how the inhabitants of Gibeon made peace with Israel, and were among them. That they feared greatly, because Gibeon was a great city, as one of the royal cities, because it was greater than Ai. And all the men thereof were mighty. Wherefore Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Hoham, king of Hebron, and to Piran, king of Jarmuth, and unto Japhia, king of Lachish, and unto Debar, king of Eglon, saying, Come up unto me and help me, that we might smite Gibeon, for it hath made peace with Joshua and with the children of Israel. Therefore the 5 kings of the Amorites, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon, gathered themselves together and went up in all their hosts in a camp before Gibeon to make war against it. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 9 kings right there. That sounds familiar to anybody? What that sound familiar to some of y'all? Let's go look at Revelation chapter 17 about some kings gathering up to go against Joshua and the children of Israel. Then they say after that, when Joshua heard about it, they screamed out, Save us! And he said he ascended from Gilgal, he and the people of war with him, all the mighty men of valor. So he came on down and said, we're going to go on here and fight. It's all gravy. So when we look in Revelation 17, and we look at verse 11, we'll make it 10. There are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, 1 is, another is yet to come, and when he come, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7 that go into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou saw are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings, 1 hour with the beast. And they have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords, King of kings, and they that are with him are called, chosen, and faithful. Now these men are coming together to make war against Joshua. And he went and came down with the people who were of war that were with him, mighty men of valor. And he know in another place in the prophets, he said when we would call down, come on down, we would call unto him. He would come down as a mighty man of war and smash him. And the reason why this is important, because this is Yahshua again imitating his father. Look at Exodus 15 and 3. Y'all know what type of man Yah is? A man of war. Exodus 15:3. Matter of fact, look at verse 2. Yah is my strength and song. He has become my salvation. He is my God. Listen what he tells you. I will prepare him a habitation. My father's God. And I will exalt him. That's what we have to sit back and look at. See, he prepared Hebrews chapter 10. Hold this here. We hold in Joshua chapter 10, Exodus chapter 15, Galatians chapter 3. Somewhere or another, Lord will, we make it all make some sense. Hebrews 10:7. He says, then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It's written of me, to do thy will, O God. Above, when he said, sacrifice and offering and burnt offerings and offering for sin, thou would not, neither had pleasure. I'm sorry, back up to verse 5. That's what I want. Wherefore, when you come into the world, he say, sacrifice and offering thou would not, but a body thou hast prepared me. And burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin thou had no pleasure. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It's written of me, to do thy will, O God. Above, when he had said, sacrifice and offering and burnt offerings and offering for sin thou would not, neither had pleasure therein, which are offered by the law. Then said he, lo, I come to do thy will, O God. He take away the first, that he may establish the second, by the which we are all sanctified through the offering of the body of Yahshua HaMashiach once and for all. So you know what that means? He said, I prepared a habitation for you. Look at 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and about verse 16. You need to prepare a place for God to dwell. When we sit back and we look at Solomon building the temple, which Lord will be dealing with this week, if the Lord see fit to allow us to do that. Solomon was preparing a habitation for God to dwell. Idiot niggas think this is about this man preparing a physical temple. Listen. But what it was really about was preparing a body for God to dwell in, that he might offer himself so we could prepare our bodies for God to dwell in us. Y'all understand that? I'll take that silence as a no. And what agreement has the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. As God has said, I will dwell in them, and I will walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith Yah, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. That man say, come up out of that sin, and I can take you. I can receive you. So that means y'all supposed to be moving around and working to prepare a place for God to dwell. How is God going to be able to? Galatians 5 and 18. We still hold in Exodus 15, Joshua 10, Galatians 3. We'll still get to Numbers 14 in another location. I ain't forgot about it. Galatians 5 and 17. You got to look at it and be able, why is God not able to dwell there? Because you're not making provisions to prepare the place for this man to dwell. You're not making a place for this man to dwell. You got to make a place for the man to dwell. Verse 17 of the 5th chapter of the Epistle of Galatians. For the flesh lusts against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. These are contrary one to the other, so you cannot do the things that you would. See, when we go back and we look at Eve, because we've been looking at that lately. Eve, the spirit would tell her what to do. She knew what to do. But the flesh was warned against it because I desire this. I want this. Therefore, she was able to be dictated and moved by her flesh because the flesh was warned against what she should do. A lot of y'all, you had the same problem. The flesh overtakes you and overcomes you because it leaning more to what you want to do. You don't resist it. You don't want to resist it. You desire to stay in it. But look what Paul tells you though. Now if you be led of the Spirit, you're not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revilings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. So how is God going to be able to dwell in you when you have not removed these things and preparing a habitation for him to dwell? You say you want to receive the man's spirit, but yet you have not removed the uncleanliness out of the temple. We can sit back and look at in the word where these people cleaned the temple up because it was defiled and tore down. That they removed all the uncleanliness out of the place to sanctify it, that it might be a proper habitation for God. Showing us that we have to sanctify and cleanse our temple to make it a habitation. The law sit back and say, he's singing a song, he say, he's my father's God, I prepare for him a habitation. Why have you not prepared for him a place to dwell? The man desires to dwell in you, and you don't desire him to dwell there, but you run your mouth and say you do. It's the stuff you do, the attitude some of y'all get, the tone of voice when you told stuff, man, that stuff despicable. Leave that stuff in last year, don't bring it in this year, or the hell you going to be going, because your heart will never be set for that man to dwell there. It's going to be impossible. Back to Exodus 15, though. You got to look at that stuff, man. Man, a bad attitude, man, bad outlook, always sit back. See, some of y'all problem is, you sit back, and what they say is, you got some people don't like constructive criticism, know what they say? See, some of y'all don't like for somebody to tell you about yourself. And the only part you focusing in on is you feel like it's an attack on you instead of actually paying attention and listening to what you're being told. Because at the end of the day, if you would actually listen to what you're being told and get up out your behind and stop being a baby and stop crying, oh my feeling hurt, you might see what you were told could actually be to your benefit and profit to get you where you need to go. But when you act like a Nancy boy, this male or female, you go to crying and pout and think somebody can, you ain't gonna never get there. Because in actuality, you don't want to get right. You don't want to prepare a habitation for them. You just want to walk around like it's all gravy, and it's not. Verse 2 one more time. Yah is my strength and song. He has become my salvation. He is my God. I will prepare him a habitation. My father's God, and I will exalt him. Yah is a man of war. Yah is his name. Now we see Joshua was a man of war. He ready to get it, ain't he? Now we see this here. Yah's a man of war because he drowned the horse and the ride in the sea. He killed them people. Matter of fact, he said, my whole purpose is to rise up the heart of Pharaoh harder. I might show my power on him. Let him know, if you think you gangster, wait till you get a load of me. Wait till you come see me. Now Joshua hears about these 9 kings sitting saying that they want to come upon this city and destroy it. He said, let me get the mighty men of valor. So let's look on it in Revelation 19 and 15. Because if Yah's a man of war, I would think that his son would imitate that and do that then, because we already read, he said everything the Father do, the Son do likewise. We've established one thing, he forgives sin. We ain't got around to him imitating Abraham or imitating David, but he definitely imitating his father. Verse 15, well, make it 11 of the 19th chapter of the book of Revelation. Come here, Lizzie. Come here, Lizzie. Give me that bacon. She act like she's going to come on over here so I can take her bacon. Then she'll be mad. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness doth he judge and make war. And his eyes was a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and on his name he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. See, when you look at verse 19, look what the beast did. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. When we go back to Joshua chapter 10, ain't we seeing the same thing? And the man who was doing this, who was leading this charge, was the king of Jerusalem. Now let's look at Daniel chapter 11 and see why that's important. This is the king of Jerusalem. Daniel chapter 11, let's see what verse I want. Huh? Daniel chapter 11. Let's look at verse 3. Who pooped? Stanky McMuffin over there? And a mighty king shall stand up, that shall rule with great dominion, and do according to his will. And when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken, and shall be divided toward the four winds of heaven, not to his posterity, not according to his dominion which he ruled, for his kingdom shall be plucked up, even for others besides those. And the kings of the south shall be strong, and one of his princes, he shall be strong above him, and have dominion. His dominion shall be a great dominion. I appreciate it. And in the end of years they shall join themselves together, for the king's daughter of the south shall come to the king of the north to make an agreement, but she shall not retain the power of the arm. Neither shall he stand, nor his arm, but she shall be given up. And they that brought her, and he that begat her, and he that strengthened her in those times. But out of a branch of her root shall one stand up in his estate, which shall come with an army, and enter into the fortress of the king of the north, and shall deal against them, and shall prevail. And shall also carry captives into Egypt their gods with their princes, and with their precious vessels of silver and of gold. He shall continue more years than the king of the north. The king of the south shall come into his kingdom, and shall return into his own land. Come on down here to 16, though.
You took it, man.
Huh? You good?
No, you took it.
Don't eat egg salad while riding the city bus.
I like it, so.
Don't eat tuna salad while riding the city bus.
I eat fish.
Brush your teeth after every meal.
Yeah.
Wipe twice. He said, but he that come against him shall do according to his own will. None shall stand before him. He shall stand in the glorious land, which by his hand shall be consumed. He shall also set his face to enter with the strength of his whole kingdom, and upright ones with him. Thus shall he do. He shall give him the daughter of women, corrupting her, but she shall not stand on his side, neither be for him. After this shall he turn his face to the isles, and shall take many, but a prince for his own behalf shall cause the reproach offered by him to cease. Without his own reproach, he shall cause it to turn upon him. Then he shall turn his face toward the fort of his own land, but he shall stumble and fall and not be found. Then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes in the glory of the kingdom. But within a few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor battle. And his estate shall stand up a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the king. But he shall come in peaceably, and obtain the kingdom by flatteries. And with the arms of the flood they shall be overthrown. From before him they shall be broken, yea, also the prince of the covenant. After the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully, for he shall come up and shall become strong with small people. He shall enter in peaceably, even unto the fattest places of the provinces. He shall do that which his fathers have not done, nor his fathers' fathers. He shall scatter among the prey the spoil and the riches, yet he shall forecast his devices against the strongholds, even for a time. Now we're reading about a king that's going to come to Jerusalem. He's looking to overtake it. Who was the main man causing these men to come up and want to fight? The king of Jerusalem, wasn't it? Now at that time we hadn't taken Jerusalem, had we? So now you're seeing a similitude of the land, which is the city of Yah, where the king Melchizedek came from, which was the priest of the Most High God, being trampled underfoot by the heathen. This heathen don't want to lose his authority and his power in his place. When we read in Daniel chapter 11, we talking about that son of perdition, that last man of evil. Verse 44 of the same place in the book of Daniel. After that, we'll look at Revelation chapter 11 and 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. He said, but the tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go with a great fury to destroy and utterly make away many. He shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the slees and the glorious Kodesh mountain, Yet he shall come to his end, and none shall help him. That means this man gonna set up and try to run stuff straight out of Jerusalem. You know, everybody want to be in Jerusalem. They know that's God's place, ain't it? That's the city. You don't see nobody fighting for the control over no other city. Ain't nobody fighting for control of D.C. and London. Nobody care nothing about Paris, Beijing, Istanbul, Dubai. Ain't nobody trying to get over there. It's a amount of conflict about Jerusalem, though, ain't it? Y'all been seeing conflict about Jerusalem your whole life. Even if you wasn't into current events and looking at that stuff, you know about what was going on in Jerusalem, though, didn't you? Revelation 11. That's why he sat back and said he would plead for his land. That's why he told you in Zechariah that he would stand up and fight for it. Revelation 11 and 1. There was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood saying, Rise and measure the temple of God and the altar therein, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the Kodesh city shall they tread underfoot for 42 months. So them people gonna tread Jerusalem down for 3.5 years. And you don't think when this man come back to take what's his, they ain't gonna want to fight about it? Because that's what they fighting about in Joshua chapter 10. They sit back looking at this man they gonna come take over our city. We don't want to get that up. They not knowing it's not yours, nigga. Matter of fact, look at about verse 17. Make it 15 and let's look at something. Because he just like his daddy now. And the seventh angel sounded, and there was great voices in heaven, saying, The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Hamashiach, and he shall reign forever and ever. And the 24 elders which sat before God on their seats fell upon their faces and worshiped God, saying, We give thanks, O Yah Elohim Almighty, which art and was and ought to come, because thou hast taken to thee thy great power and hast reigned. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, and thou shalt give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and should destroy them which destroy the earth. You don't think we just read in Joshua chapter 10, them people were angry, wasn't they? They said, we heard what he did to Jericho. We heard what he did to Ai. They done took down that kingdom. They going to come take ours too. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. All this stuff so you could get ready to know what's going to go down. I didn't have it in my mind to go this way, but thank the Lord. Y'all had to get ready to go down, don't get duped. Remember how we were talking about earlier on the Sabbath? In Deuteronomy 13, we done looked at it many times, that if a man come working signs and wonders, don't go for it, because I already told you what you're supposed to do. Because I'm trying you to see if you believe me or not. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 1. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahshua HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, that you be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as the day of the Messiah is at hand. So you know what he was telling them? He said, man, y'all niggas don't go to getting scared like what I'm writing to you mean that this about to happen. Is that not what he's saying? You know this niggas teach that, they was expecting that to happen during their time. He said, that you not be soon shaken or troubled by no spirit, no by word, or no letter, like I'm telling you, like this finna happen. Y'all clear on that? Y'all clear on that? Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. That man letting you know, don't let nobody lie to you. Before that day come when the Lord coming back, niggas gonna fall off from this word. Then this man gonna be shown. You know how many people falling off from this word every day? Every day. I ain't talking about no Christian people. No, I'm talking about men who actually profess they had faith on this man and rejected him. Men who actually said that they walked in this way they believed and they went back to the world. Heard the truth, went back. Heard of Hamashiach, rejected when they once professed belief. This man say before this man come back, niggas is gonna reject the word. Lizzie say that's funny. So I ain't gonna do it. Whoso who oppose and exalt himself above all that is called God, or all that is worshipped, so that he as God sit in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So you know the only place that he would do this in is in Jerusalem. Read the verse in Daniel 11 where this man would exalt himself like this. If he gonna sit in the temple of God, where is the temple of God gonna be but in Jerusalem? It ain't nowhere else. It ain't no Vatican City. Who cares about Vatican City and some old funny looking all wherever that dude from? I forget where he's from. I think he's supposed to be Latino. Nigga look white as snow. Straight European talking about he from Brazil. He looked better than the last one. The last one looked like somebody out of Scary Book. I forget what his name was. Benedict? What that his name? I don't know. You know, most of my whole life, who it was John Paul. They loved it, John Paul. Nigga tried to murder John Paul about 81. Nigga put a bullet in John Paul. Before John Paul died, you seen him kissing the Quran. He would go around and get all the Muslims and the Jewish people like they were working on making a one world religion. So that's why people always scream the Pope and all this here, because these people were working for these things, but they all working for the devil. You know what I'm talking about? Because you got the Muslims, the Arabs, waiting for the Imam Mahdi, who's supposed to do the same thing that the anti-Messiah is supposed to do. They waiting on it. The same thing niggas screamed at the Pope. How the Pope was supposed to be the anti-Messiah. They look at the Imam Mahdi the same way, but they don't realize all of them niggas anti-Messiah. They reject the Son. Which means they anti-Yah. He say, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. Now you know what we're told, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only now he who now will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders. So you would have to sit back and look at this man who going to be professing himself to be God. Any miracle, sign, or wonder he going to work is going to be imitating something that Yahshua already did or y'all did in the law. You understand that? So that means any sign, if fire come down from heaven, you know what I'm saying? Anything, if you sit back and look at, man, Elisha did that. Elijah did that. Yahshua did that. Hold on. Moses did that. Joshua did that. Oh, that nigga, that phone. Because remember what the Messiah told you. He said, if anybody say the Messiah over here, don't you go over there. If anybody say in the desert, don't you go. Matthew 24, so we be clear on that. Matthew 24 and 23. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Hamashiach, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Hamashiachs, false Messiahs, false Christs, and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they should deceive the very elect. Behold, I've told you before. That means I done already told you before it happened, so if you fall for it, that means you're stupid. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers. Believe it not. For as the lightning come out of the east and shine even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So you know what that means. If he don't come from out the heavens, that ain't him. That ain't me. Deuteronomy 13 one more time, just out the law, because he said he told you before. Let's see what he told you. So guess what? He's showing you he about his father's business. Well, we thought we would deal with emulation, but I guess we're just dealing with how Yahshua about his father's business then, ain't we? He about his father's business. I got to take false prophets and false kings down. I got to forgive sins. I got to work miracles. I got to show mercy. I got to show compassion. I got to die for the people. I got to redeem them from their sins. I got to give them the spirit if they prepare habitation for the man to dwell. I got to be about my father's business. Now ask yourself, why you not about your master's business? Because a lot of y'all about your own business. You ain't about God's business. Deuteronomy 13:1. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and give thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. When this man come to work these signs and wonders, ain't he trying to do it to get us to go worship him? So if the nigga do them and they have them, you supposed to know, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Yahshua already told me about that, and the law already told me. His daddy told me, he told me, I'd be a fool to go for that. He said, thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for Yah your God prove you to know whether you love Yah your God with all your heart and with all your soul. You shall walk after Yah your God and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice. You shall serve him and cleave unto him. Because he that joined unto the Lord is one spirit. If you join unto the Lord, like he said, it wouldn't be possible to deceive you because you'll be of the very chosen. He's good in mind. They ain't going to fall for that. Joshua chapter 10. Lizzie. What little stanky? Little stanky. Leah. I see you, Leah. I ain't your friend no more. I ain't your friend no more, Leah.
You struck me.
I'm Lizzie's friend. Lizzie is my friend. Verse 7 again, Joshua 10. Joshua ascended from Gilgal, and he and all the people of war with him, and the mighty men of valor. And Yah said unto Joshua, fear them not, for I have delivered them into thy hand, and there shall not a man of them stand before thee. Didn't we already read when this man said that when Yahshua come back, he going to knock all these people loose, all of them going to be killed? Every one of them. He said, don't you fear, I've given him into your hand. Don't you know when Yahshua came back, he gave him a sharp, made his mouth like a sharp sword to smite the nations, to rule them with a rod of iron. Joshua therefore came unto them suddenly and went up from Gilgal all night. Say he came unto them suddenly. They didn't even know he was coming. Let's look and see why. Mark chapter 13. Say he came suddenly. They didn't even know he was coming. 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 come to mind. But let's see. Mark 13 verse 34. Make it 33. Make it 32. But that day, and that hour, no man know, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son but the Father. Take ye heed, watch and pray, for you know not what then that time is. For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, to every man his work, and command the porter to watch. Watch ye therefore, for you know not when the master of the house come, at even, or at midnight, or at the cock crowing, or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. Now we see Joshua coming suddenly, and he went up at nighttime. And we're going to sit back and see Yahshua going to come suddenly and come back when? At nighttime. That is Joshua chapter 10. Ain't that something? Ten and 10. Yah discomfited them before Israel and slew them with a great slaughter at Gibeon, and chased them along the way that go to Beth Horon, and smote them to Ascon and unto Makkedah. And it came to pass, as they fled from before Israel and were going down to Beth Horon, that Yah cast down great stones from heaven upon them until Ascon they died. And they were much more which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword. Don't we read in Revelation where he talking about he would hit these people with hail? Didn't he talk about he hit these people with hail? Say it weighed about a half a talent too, didn't it? Big old heavy rocks. Then spake Joshua to Yah in the day when Yah delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Son, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hasted not to go down about a whole day. And there was no day like that before it or after it, that Yah hearkened unto the voice of a man, for Yah fought for Israel. What y'all think that mean when this man talking about he made the sun sit still in the midst of heaven for a whole day? The crucifixion. And on that day he fought for Israel. We're going to see how he fought for Israel. Let's see if this man made the sun stand still in the middle of the midst of heaven for a whole day. John chapter 19. Come here, Lizzie. Come on, Lizzie. Come on, Lizzie. Come on, Elizabeth. You can do it. Them strong quads you got right there. You look like a squatter. Are you a squatter? See, I like goblet squats. I don't like back squats. That hurt my knees. This is looking like I ain't going nowhere. John 19 and 30. We'll back it up about verse 15. They cried out, away with him, crucify him. Pilate said unto them, shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answered, we have no king but Caesar. Then delivered he him therefore unto them to be crucified. They took Yahshua and led him away. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in the Hebrew Golgotha, where they crucified him, two other with him on either side, one and Yahshua in the midst. And Pilate wrote a title and put it on the cross, and the writing was Yahshua of Nazareth, King, the King of the Jews. It's something come to my mind about this. I guess we'll go to look at it right now. Come over here to Genesis chapter 22. Now he say the sun stood still in the midst of heaven all day. Sun stood still in the midst of heaven all day. Genesis chapter 22 by verse 6. Make it 4. Make it 3. Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass and took his young men with him and Isaac his son and clave the wood for the burnt offering and rose up and went unto the place which God had told him. And Yahshua was taken when? Very early in the morning, right? Then on the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. Now I'm going to show y'all why that's important. On the third day, he saw the place afar off. Look at Matthew chapter 26. I'll show you something. Why y'all think it made mention on the third day he saw the place afar off where he was going to sacrifice his son at? Any of y'all know why that would be important? This ain't got nothing to do when he rose. Matthew 26 and 1. This ain't got nothing to do when he rose on this time. Let's look and see. And it came to pass when Yahshua had finished all these things, he said unto his disciples, you know that after 2 days is the feast of the Passover, and the Son of Man is to be betrayed, to be crucified. So that means from the day he said it, and 2 more days would have been how many days? How many days? Dwight, T, you could just show me by your hand. If he said 2 days after I said this in the feast of the Passover, and I'll be killed, and the day that he said it, how many days is that? Dwight, you gonna help us out here, sir? That's 3 days then. So when we come back to Genesis 22, it makes sense on the third day when he seen the place afar off where he was gonna kill him at. Why you think he come around there and tell? That means he about his father's business. He know 3 days after you tell me it's time for me to die, man. He had to let him know. You know, 2 days after this, the feast of Passover. That's how we can actually count and know when he actually died. He actually told them when it was going to happen. When he spoke that to them, if Passover, the 14th day of the first month, he told them this on the 11th. He told them this on the 11th. Come on back over here to Genesis 22. Abraham said unto his young men, abide you here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship, and come again to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering, and laid it upon Isaac his son, and he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. See how he put him on some wood? See how we read the other night when Elijah had the wood for the burnt offering? An offering made by fire. He put him on some wood. Joshua made the sun stand still in the middle of the day. Yahshua is bearing this cross. He on some wood, and he about to make the sun stand still in the middle of the day. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, my father. He said, here I am, my son. He said, behold, the fire and the wood. Where is the lamb for a burnt offering? Abraham said, my son, God will provide himself for a burnt offering. Provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went, both of them together, and thanked the Lord, because we already read it. Burnt offering and sacrifices I did not require. A body I prepared for you, because I'm about my father's business. And when he was about his father's business, when John the Baptist seen him, what did he say? They go to the Lamb of God. They go to the Lamb of God. And they came to the place which God had told him of, and Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And before they took Yahshua to bound him on, to put him on that wood, they bound him up, right? And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife and slay his son. And the angel of Yah called unto Abraham out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. He said, here am I. And he said, lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him, for now I know that thou fear God, seeing thou hast not withhold thy son, thy only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. Anybody know what a thicket is? A thicket. He said he seen a ram caught in a thicket. Y'all know what a thicket is? A bush. But it would be a bush with what? With thorns on it. And let's go look at Matthew 27 and let's see what they did with these thorns. Because I found a ram caught in a thicket. I thought I found Yahshua caught in a thicket, but I'm not sure though. I thought it was a ram. Might have been the Lord. I'm not completely sure. 29th verse of Matthew 27, I'm not sure. Some people say we just be reaching trying to validate this Roman construct of this false Messiah. I say we just trying to believe so a habitation can be prepared so God can dwell there. And when they had planted a crown of thorns, they put upon his head and a reed in his right hand, and they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews. So even with the ram being caught in the thicket, that's bowed him, because he was caught in some thorns. And then they turned around and put some thorns on the man's head. After he done bound him and laid out the wood and put him on him. After we read in how Elijah took 12 stones and set the wood in order and put a bullock on it, when Jeremiah told you, I'm like a lamb or an ox taken to the slaughter. And I didn't know that they devised devices against me, knowing that these people plotted and planned and said we ought to kill him. And Judas went to say, let me get 30 pieces of silver so I can kill the man. That's unbelievable. Ain't it? How could people reject this? How could they do it? The baby boo boo. How could they do it? And then he turned around and said, we read about the man. Come back to John 19. We read about the man. We still going to come back to Galatians chapter 3. And we read about this man being put on some wood, and he going to make the sun sit still in the middle of the day. Snake in his pocket. This baby crazy. This baby crazy. I don't know what we're going to do with him. Sit down, Saint. So we come over here to at the verse 30 of the 19th chapter of John. And when Yahshua had therefore received the vinegar, he said, "It's finished," and he bowed his head and gave up the ghost. Now we remember, if he said it's finished, what did he just do? Who remembers? He bowed his father's business now. He just said it's finished. What just happened? He rested, which means he took on the Sabbath. I'm about my father's business. My father rested on the seventh day. I rest on the seventh day. And get up on the first and start working again, because I'm about my father's business. But now he said he made the sun sit still in the middle of the day. So you know that whole time this man was up there on that tree suffering, the sun was sitting in the mid of heavens in the middle of the day, sitting still. And you know that's something. You know people couldn't catch that. I'm going to read that Joshua 10 one more time so you can see what he said. This man said in the 13th verse of the 10th chapter of the book of Joshua, I'll make it verse 12. That then spake Joshua to Yah the day when Yah delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. He said in the sight of Israel, "Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon." And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hasted not to go down about a whole day. That man was on that tree for a whole day. In the midst of heaven. Because you know he was up there, high up there. He was filling the heavens and the earth. He was there. Filling up heaven. Sun stood still. How we know the sun stood still? How we know he was the sun that stood still? And he said there was no day like it or before it, that y'all hearken unto a voice of a man, and y'all fought for Israel. How we know Yahshua was that sun standing up and standing still? Malachi 4:2. This is how we know. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and you shall grow up and grow forth a calf to the stall. So now we got y'all saying he just called him the S-U-N, didn't he? He said he made it stood still, and when he made it stood still, he fought for his enemies. He fought Israel's enemy. 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Then we could go right back to Exodus chapter 15. Don't you not notice that when he made the sun stood still, that was a work of faith? The law had nothing to do with it? Y'all see that? Listen. First Corinthians 15. Verse 22. All right, listen. Just have to see Lizzie. Let us sit here and just chill out and just live the dream. For as in Adam all died, even so in the Messiah shall all be made alive, but every man in his order. The Messiah the first fruits, afterwards they that are the Messiah is coming. Then come the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to God, even the Father, when he shall put down all rule and authority and power, for he must reign till he have put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. I got to rule till I smash all enemies. When the sun stood still in the middle of for the whole day in the midst of heaven, he fought for his enemies. Because he said, because in Adam all died and Hamashiach all be made alive. We were able to be made alive through his death and then his resurrection. Because when he was on that tree, that was Yah fighting for us. He said, by his wounds we are healed. And the chastisement of his peace is upon him, and by his stripes ye are healed. So through him fighting for you, by staying on that tree in the midst of heaven a whole day, He was fighting death for you. Hebrews 2 and 14. See, they sit back and look at it. That's what he talked about that. He was fighting for our enemies. Don't be no dummy. Death is your enemy. That's your enemy. That's who we seeking to defeat. That's why he say, you sit back and look. Thank the Lord. We're reading. Hebrews 2 and 14. Thank the Lord. Give me verse 8 first. Make it 7. Hebrews 2 and 7. Thank the Lord for the word. Thou made him a little lower than the angels. Thou crowned him with glory and honor, and did set him over the work of thy hands. Thou hast put all things in subjection under his feet. For in that he put all subjection under him, he left nothing that is not put under him. But now we see not yet all things put under him. But we see Yahshua, who was made a little lower than the angels, for the suffering of death, crowned with glory and honor, that he by the grace of God should taste death for every man. For it became him, for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, and bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through sufferings. The 14th verse of this same chapter. For as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same, that through death he might destroy him that had power of death, that is the devil, and deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. When we sit back and look at it, we came up out of Egypt being in bondage. Those people, all they knew for their entire lifetime was bondage. The same way all we know here in America is bondage. That's all we know. If any of y'all ever known what it's like to be free? Now we sit back and look at that similitude of us being in Egypt, being subject to bondage, is Yahshua being about his master's business, being about his father's business. Because he came to free us from that captivity, that's all we ever knew. All we've ever known was Egypt. I'll give you a lamb, it's going to free you from that. He come back round, do it again. I'm going to give you a lamb that's going to free you from this bondage that you always ever knew. You didn't know nothing else. You ain't never seen nothing else. You ain't known nothing else. You ain't been with nothing else. Because this was your enemy, was the sin. It was death. This is what had you captive. I had to come free you from that. The average person, all they can see is the captivity of being in captivity in an enemy's land. Being in America, being in France, being in London, being in Africa, being in Asia, being in Central, North, and South America. That's all they can see. When y'all need to really wrap your mind around the fact that if you still committing sin, you in bondage because death is on you. That is the enemy. So when we come back to Exodus chapter 15, listen up. Listen up. If you don't, you follow that simple instruction. Say, pick that towel up, Lizzie, pick that towel up. Give me that towel, Lizzie. Lizzie, give me that towel. You be happy when you hear your name on. Verse 4 of the 15th chapter of the book of Exodus. Pharaoh's chariots and his hosts have he cast into the sea. His chosen captains have he drowned in the Red Sea. The depths have covered them. They sank into the bottom as a stone. Thy right hand, O Yah, has become glorious in power. Thy right hand, O Yah, hath dashed in pieces the enemy. He destroyed him that had power over death. That is the devil. He was about his master's business. Same thing his father did. The enemy was Pharaoh. Pharaoh was him who was king over the captivity of the people. He took it, crashed it. Satan is him that had captivity over Egypt. That is bondage, that is sin, that is death. And Yahshua came through and did what? Crashed him. Why? Because the sun stood still in the midst of heaven for a whole day, and Yah fought for Israel. He hearkened to the voice of a man. Because Yahshua, when he was in the flesh, he was a man. Listen to about Luke 22, 23 actually. 34. Listen to what the Lord tells him. He said, then said Yahshua, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they parted his raiment and cast lots. You think he didn't hearken to the voice of that man when he spit that? You don't think he heard it? Because these people committed a great sin. But now let's look at something else about he sit back and he about his father's business. This man just said that they took his raiments and parted them and cast lots. Why is that important that they took his raiments and parted them? What y'all make? Why y'all think that's important that it mentioned that they took his raiments and parted them? Huh? Why y'all think it's important that they took his raiment and parted? And another place it say they cast lots for him. Basically shot some dice for him. Why is that important? Well, let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 28. We got some real echoing going on there. What y'all niggas got going on? Y'all got the Friday the 13th music going on with the stuff. Let me see what verse it is that I want. Let's see what it is that we want. What verse it is that we want here. Get on here to 36. Let me see if 36 what we're looking for. I think 36 is what we're looking for. Matter of fact, just make it Ezekiel chapter 5 because that's what keeps ringing in my head. Ezekiel chapter 5 and verse 1. That's it. Come on, Lizzie. Come on, little big muffin. And thou, son of man, take thee a sharp knife, and take thee a barber's razor, and cause it to pass upon thy head and upon thy beard. And take thee balances to weigh and divide the hair. Thou shalt burn with fire a third part in the midst of the city. And when the days of the seeds are fulfilled, thou shalt take a third part and smite it about with a knife. And a third part thou shalt scatter in the wind. And I will draw a sword out after them. When you see that this man taking part of his raiment, don't you know he was taking to show you how you were going to be scattered? How he said, I will scatter you to the four winds. So I'm going to take some of your stuff, it's going over here. I'm going to take some of your stuff, you're coming over here. I'm going to take some of this here, and it's coming over there. Then he said they cast lots for it. Joel chapter 2. Well, that's chapter 3. That's an ugly thing when you fulfill this book. Joel 3 and 1. Behold, in those days and at that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they scattered among the nations and parted my land. You sit back and look at it, he got all the nations that gathered up against Joshua and he crashed them, didn't he? But look what else he said. And they cast lots for my people and have given a boy for a harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Did them people not cast lots for this man's stuff? Now what you think that means by selling a boy for a harlot, giving a boy for a harlot and sold a girl for wine? Anybody? Well, you know Yahshua was given for a harlot. He died for a whore, didn't he? They sold him, they gave him up for a whore. Because he died for his wife. His wife was a whore. He said, go love you a woman beloved of her friend, better yet an adulteress. So then he said they sold a girl for wine. You know he male and female at the same time. They sold this man to shed innocent blood. Remember what Judas said when he said, oh man, I betrayed innocent blood, take the money back. What the scribes and Pharisees said to him. That's your problem. You see about that. How many of y'all would have looked the nigga in the face and told him that? I mean, you already know you want to kill him, so you don't care about all that there. But he come back to you and say, man, I'm wrong, man, take the money back. The nigga say, man, that's your problem, nigga. It don't make no difference. We done got what we want out of you, nigga. We don't care nothing about that cash, nigga. We just wanted that nigga dead. Look what he say in the next verse, though. Yea, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your head? Because what did the Romans and Pilate them have to do what was going on? You ain't had nothing to do with this. But yet you stuck your head in it, so I got to pay you back too. Ooh, woo. And you know why he had to have them Gentiles involved in that? To sit back and show that my judgment will be brought forth upon every man, woman, and child upon the face of this earth, no matter what nationality they are part of. No man will escape this wrath. No man will escape this judgment. No man will escape it. Did she just say, Lizzie, what you doing? Lizzie, what you doing? Sound like one of the chipmunks. That's something to think about right there. But thank the Lord he's put a man up and he hearkened to the voice of a man to stand up and fight for his people. That nigga finna fart on you. Come on back over here to John chapter 5. Read something the Lord said. I ain't finna hold y'all too long. Somebody slapped that nigga, I heard it. He ain't gonna do nothing. You just gonna take that slap. You gonna take that slap. Now you done made me get me what I just asked for. Matthew, John chapter 5. We get back to Galatians 3. So when we look in the 19th verse of John chapter 5, make it 18, make it 17. But Yahshua answered them, my Father worked hitherto, and I work. Therefore the Jews sought the more to kill him, because he not only had broken the Sabbath, but he said also that God was his Father, making himself equal to God. Then answered Yahshua and said unto them, truly, truly, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he see the Father do. For what things soever he do, these also do the Son likewise. So now let's turn around and let's look at him doing something that he's seen his Father do. 2 Samuel, I believe. That's the one I want. 2 Samuel, about chapter 19, about verse 30. Listen, stop. So if you don't know no other words you like to say, you don't say listen, huh? You won't say I want a cup of water, but you'll say, Lizzie, what you doing? Lizzie, where you going? Lizzie, Lizzie, Lizzie. And Mesaboth said unto the king, yea, let him take all, for as much as my lord the king is come again in peace into his own house. And Barzillai the Gildite came down from Rogelim and went over Jordan with the king to conduct him over Jordan. Now Barzillai was a very aged man, even 80 years old. And he provided the king of sustenance where he lay at Manahem, for he was a very great man. And the king said unto Barzillai, come thou over with me, and I will feed thee with me in Jerusalem. Barzillai said unto the king, how long have I to live that I should go up with the king unto Jerusalem? I am this day 80 years old, and I can neither discern between good and evil. Can thy servant taste what I eat or what I drink? Can I hear any more the voice of singing men and singing women? Wherefore then should thy servant be yet a burden unto my lord the king? Thy servant will go a little way over Jordan with the king. Why should the king recompense me with such a reward? Let thy servant, I pray thee, turn back again, that I might die in my own city. and be buried by the grave of my father and of my mother. Behold, thy servant Shimham, let him go over with my lord the king, and do to him what shall seem good unto thee. And the king answered, Shimham shall go over with me, and I will do to him that which shall seem good unto thee. And whatsoever thou shalt require of me, that will I do for thee. Now you sitting back looking at a man who served the king, and the king just told him, whatever it is that you require of me, I will do it. What does that sound familiar to y'all? I know not Abraham. Didn't he tell his disciples if they hearkened unto him and did what he said, that whatever they asked of him, he would do it? Let's see that in John chapter 15. He got to be about his father's business. David was a merciful king and a wise man. He said, because you sustained me, you rode with me. He said, I want to give you a reward. He said, I'm too old. He said, well, check this out. Take this man with you, and whatever he need of you, I get you. Verse 8 of the 15th chapter. Make it 7 of the 15th chapter of the book of John. Hey, listen. Going a million miles a second on that binky there, ain't you? If you abide in me and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what you will, and it shall be done unto you. Herein is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit, so shall you be my disciples. As the Father loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. Is that not what this man was just doing? With continuing in his love because he loved him, so therefore he loved him back? Come on back to Samuel. So you see that love, again, not an emotion, but something that was executed. Look at verse 17 of the same chapter. Make it 16. And there were 1,000 men of Benjamin with him. Zibiah, the servant of the house of Saul, and his 15 sons, and his 20 servants with him. And they went over before the king, went over Jordan before the king. There went over a ferry boat to carry over the king's household, and to do that what he thought good. And Shimei the son of Gera fell down before the king as he was come over Jordan. This is what he said, and said unto the king, let not my lord impute iniquity upon me. Neither do thou remember that which thy servant did perversely the day that my lord the king went out of Jerusalem, that the king should take it to his heart. For thy servant doth know that I have sinned. Therefore, behold, I come the first this day of all the house of Joseph, to go down to meet my lord the king. But Abishai the son of Zeruiah answered and said, shall not Shimei be put to death for this? Because he cursed Yah's anointed. Now, why would it say in here that he should be put to death because he cursed Yah's anointed? He's saying you cursed Yah's Hamashiach, didn't he? He cursed Yah's Messiah. Well, let's look at Mark chapter 3 and see why the Lord would come back around and make such a statement. See, you know what this is here with Shimei, that's when he came out and said he cursed him. He said, thou bloody man, all the blood of the house of Saul gonna come back on you. And somebody said, let me just knock his head off. Just like when Peter came with that sword that cut off Malchus's ear. See, that's what the servant of David wanted to turn around and do to Shimei here, who were blaspheming, who were cursing. So I just wanted, he said, no, bid it, let him do it. He said, maybe, well, he done cursed me and maybe y'all bless me for it. He said, let the nigga talk. Mark chapter 3, verse 24. Make it 23. 22 is even better. And the scribes which came down from Jerusalem said, he has Beelzebub, and by the prince of devils he cast out devils. And he called unto them and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? If a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. Remember how we already read, the spirit lusts against the flesh and the flesh against the spirit, that you can't do the things that you should? How are you going to be able to stand when you divided against yourself? The only reason why you divided against yourself because you double-minded, you unstable. You want to be righteous on Tuesday, carnal on Thursday. You know what I'm talking about? I'm spiritual on Wednesday, skeptical on Friday. On Saturday, you like this here. Oh, sun go down Friday night. Oh, it's Sabbath end. Oh, I'm spiritual today. Soon as the Sabbath end, back to being carnal. Because you was already carnal before the Sabbath came in. You just told yourself you were spiritual. Kingdom divided. That's why he said, don't let a double-minded man ask anything of the Lord. He won't receive nothing in it, because a double-minded man is unstable in all their ways. You can't be divided against yourself. Either you're going to be spirit or you're going to be flesh. I ain't forgot about that Romans chapter 7 about being delivered from this enemy. It just came back to my mind. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. That's why I be telling you, if you just go ahead and look at the problem and issue you got to get rid of them, you can stand. But you don't want to do it. You just want to continue. Oh, I'm straight. See, that nigga don't know what he's talking about. Because I know I've been making changes in my life. Because I came a long way. I ain't what I used to be, such and such, but you're still not where you need to be. You content and happy about, I ain't what I was at such and such time. But you still not perfected. You still don't have what you're seeking. So why you content with that? You know what that tells me? Mediocre niggas like mediocre results. Y'all you ever noticed that before? Mediocre people be satisfied with mediocre results. You ever seen that? Be satisfied with it. Shoot, I did that much. I know Delta seen it all the time playing sports. That niggas was satisfied with just mediocre. Shoot, nigga. Yeah, I could have been all pro. I could have hit the Pro Bowl. But hey, man, I'm good, man. I had 32 tackles and 1 pass deflection. How many interceptions you got? I had a couple. I dropped them. But shoot, nigga, I got another contract though. Long as I can stay in the league and latch on. I don't care about actually maximizing my potential. Just let me have a spot on the roster. That's how some of y'all look at it. As long as I'm part of a congregation, I can hear the word. I'm straight. I don't actually want to be made perfect. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. Truly I say unto you, all sins shall be forgiven unto the sons of men, and blasphemies whatsoever they shall blaspheme. You sit back and see what David is actually going to forgive this man for the blaspheming and the cursing that he did. But he that shall blaspheme against the Ruach HaKodesh have never forgiveness, but is in danger of eternal damnation, because they said he hath an unclean spirit. Come on back to 2 Samuel. Now this man said, he asked him, should he not be put to death because he cursed thee? Verse 22 of 2 Samuel 19. Because he got to be about his father's business, right? David is his father, ain't he? He said, I'm the root and the offspring of David. And David said, what have I to do with you, ye sons of Zeruiah, that you should this day be adversaries unto me? Shall there any man be put to death this day in Israel? For do I not know that I am this day king over Israel? Therefore the king said unto Shimei, thou shalt not die. And the king sware unto him. So even for all the blasphemy that he did against his Messiah, you sat back and read where Yahshua said, any blasphemy against the Son, that could be forgiven. Why do you think he said it? Should I not be about my master's business? Should I not be about my father's business? We already know the similitudes with Abraham. We talked about it earlier when we referenced Matthew 19. Why he had the ability and the authority to tell that rich man to give up everything he had, because he did what Abraham did. We already dealt with this in time past. He said he'd go Abraham to teach his house justice and judgment in the way of Yah. You know Yahshua came down here to teach us about justice and judgment in the way of Yah. Everything his fathers did, he emulated them to the T. Then we sit back and look at all the miracles that was worked. They didn't come from the keeping of the law. They came of faith. You looking to be sealed by the Spirit, and you thinking the law alone is going to get it to you, yet you don't believe. And obviously if you don't believe, you can't be keeping this man's law in totality. You can't be. It's impossible. Because if you believe, All that stuff go out the window. There would be no way. You already violating the greatest commandment anyway because you don't love y'all with all your heart, all your strength, and all your soul. So you think because you're not wearing pants or you don't eat pork or you don't lie no more or you keep the Sabbath or, oh, I'm going Passover or I'm going to cook on Passover or I'm going to wash some feet or I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. You think that make up for your evil heart of unbelief. Hebrews chapter 3 verse 18. I'm for real. You think that make up for it? I fed a homely person today. God gonna bless you for that work. You still gonna go to hell. You're not right. It's not 18 we want. It's 7. Wherefore, as the Ruach HaKodesh saith, today if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, as in the provocation of the day of temptation in the wilderness. Wherefore, when your fathers had tempted me and proved me and saw my works 40 years. Wherefore I was grieved with that generation, and they said they do always err in their heart. They have not known my ways. See, if they had been about their father's business, they would have known his ways. That means they would have known his son. So I swear in my wrath, they shall not enter into my rest. Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living God. But exhort one another daily while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin, for we are made partakers of Hamashiach if we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast unto the end. Y'all be wondering why you be like this here, like you man, you're going too far with it. You wonder why. It's to warn you that an evil heart of unbelief don't creep in, because sin will deceive you. And once sin is conceived, death is conceived. Romans chapter 7, that's why Paul told you, man, I was deceived at one time. Then it came in because you thought it looked good. I could get away with it. It's okay. It ain't a big deal. And you going to die behind it. Y'all wonder why I be saying stuff and be so adamant about it. This your life. It's not a vain thing for you. This your life. If you let something minor, if you think something small and minor ain't a big deal, it opened the door for other stuff. That allow that evil heart of unbelief to creep in where you'll depart. All Satan in the flesh need is a door. And once that door open, he can come in and tempt. And if he touch the right button, you niggas is going to drop off. That's why we exhort you and warn you every chance we get. Romans 7 and 8. I'm sitting there, I'm telling you, some of y'all done seen niggas quit. Don't sit around there and think, oh, that would never be me. The Lord will make you here, put a test to you, show you be a liar. You have to guard your heart. He said, guard your heart. The issues of life come out of it. That's what Solomon wrote to it. Guard your heart. If your mind ain't guarded with their word, man, that man slide right on through. The man said the enemy come through to steal, kill, and destroy. All he's trying to come do is come in here and kill you. Because you ain't guarded your heart. The man just told you if a strong man had guarded his house, the thief wouldn't have been able to get in. But you ain't guarding your heart. So guess what that means? He get right on in there. And when he get right on in there, he take you right on down. He say, but sin, by taking occasion of by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of conspicuance. For without the law, sin was dead. For I was alive without the law once, but when the commandment came, sin revived, and I died. And the commandment which was ordained to life, I found to be death. For sin, taking occasion by the commandment, deceived me, and by it slew me. You see what happened? See that sin come in, it seems so good, and it slays you. That's why he said to be circumspect, wise, and fear in everything you doing. When you walk around and your mind is not locked in and is not focused on what you got to do, that's how stuff creep in and you slip. You can't be walking around here relaxed. Oh, I don't think that's true. I slide in. Remember what I told you the man said in the Proverbs 11 chapter, find a man diligent in his work, he'll stand before kings. Where y'all sure standing at right now? Before the king. Why? Because I'm about my father's business. Diligent in his labor. Was he not? He could stand before a king. How you not going? You niggas be diligent when that white man tell you clock in so you get your check. You diligent about that. Diligent. No white folks say, boy, come on and get this job, boy, get this money. You like, yeah, I'm gone. Come down to the Lord and work. You slothful. You're not diligent. Your mind ain't locked in on boom, 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 boom. So coming in the new year, you need to have a new mind frame. 2 Corinthians chapter 5. I still need to die. I told you, man, if somebody came and told you, now I'll tell you if you done grown and you done had some growth and I see a little maturity. But at the same time, because you had growth and maturity don't mean that you done changed. You know what I'm talking about? You can have growth and not change. Because your core fundamental principles of how you think and how you act and how you do still exist. You just might have matured in a particular area. You might have grew up here, but you still haven't changed. Because when you change, old stuff done. We sit back and look at it. Every time comes, Leah changed. You know how she changed? I don't use a diaper anymore. I can get up and go use the toilet. That thing has passed away. I no longer need a diaper. I'm quite capable of going to the toilet and using it. And I don't need any assistance on removing my undergarments to sit upon the pot. The only thing I need to learn next is how to wipe my bum. Has she started to master that yet? She get there, and then after that, that's what I'm saying. That wouldn't come at. That's a process. Now that's old. That's passed away. Pamper. If you were to try to bring her pamper at the same time, she'd get offended. Pamper. You know pamper? You know what I'm talking about? I'm using something just that simple of a baby because she's sitting right in here next to me. That's passed away. I don't need no pamper. Well, you have to sit back and look at if behaviors, thought processes, ways, doings have not passed away, you haven't changed. Don't look at because you got growth in a certain area that means you change when you know it's stuff resting in your heart still there. Verse 17 of 2 Corinthians chapter 5, that's all we want to read. I'm finna let y'all get on out of here. But what you niggas got? What you got a duck in that nigga's quacking? But y'all, I don't know what you niggas be having going on. Therefore, if any man be in the Messiah, he is a new creature. All things are passed away. Behold, all things have become new. That's why he said you must be born again. 1 John 3 and 5. Because if you're in the Messiah, you can't be the same. How you get in the Messiah and you still the same? Then get offended if somebody tell you ain't changed. And you know you ain't been transformed. You know your mind ain't been renewed. You know you still the same. I'll tell y'all this before. How many of you feel like if somebody said something about you and it wasn't true, would it anger you? I'm talking about if you know somebody just came up and said something about your character, your ways, and your... I'm talking about that's something blatant. I'm talking about what really anger you. You might not be pleased with it. You might be offended. But I'm talking about really set you off. Where you would go to snap it. Because you'll be like, this issue, nigga, I know you lying. But you know when a nigga say something about you and they telling the truth and you know it's the truth, that's when niggas snap. Because you know how black people do. Nigga will go off. Get loud, get belligerent, get boisterous. I'm talking about niggas sit like, nigga, where all that come from, nigga? You know I ain't lying. A nigga know when you been done told a nigga about himself and he telling the truth, nigga go overboard defending himself. Overboard. Oh, nigga, you lying on me, nigga. Oh, man. Or they do the second type of thing that niggas like to do. They run. They'll argue for a little bit and then they run. If a nigga lying on you, you know they lying, you ain't going nowhere. You'll stay and step. Nigga, I'll call you liar to your face, homeboy. I ain't going nowhere. Ain't got no need to run, cause I know you lying. See, that's one thing I tell you something. Like I told you about when that nigga went to talk about he sucked that woman his penis. Or when that nigga said that they called him the Seattle Serpent and that he had HIV. Not one time did he call them people a liar. When somebody say something about you and you go, oh, I don't believe that ain't right. But not one time you'll call them a liar. Because you know they ain't lying. You know they ain't lying. And the word called wars is, you'll kick and scream if a man told you you ain't changed. Nevertheless, if he a man of God, he told you that. But what if God looked you in your face and told you you ain't changed? Would you fight with him? Would you kick with him? I think some of you niggas would. I think some of you niggas have the utter gall and audacity and balls to argue with God about your wickedness. Sit look at the Lord. Oh, you got me messed up, Jesus. Y'all sure you got me? That ain't me. I don't do no stuff like that. And he sit there and look at that. Look at this nigga here. Look at this nigga here. Now how you think that? Now how you think he looking at you if he sends somebody who worked for him to tell you that? This nigga here. This nigga right here. That's when you just sit like that. You don't even. All you do is just sit there and just. This nigga right here. Nigga say, boy, if I drink, boy, I tell somebody to give me a tall glass of Remy Martin right now, because this nigga crazy. Don't even put no ice in it. I need my chest to burn. I don't even know what to do. I don't want no tea. I don't want no wine. Just give me some hard liquor. Say, matter of fact, I'm going to just take cheap liquor. Give me some Herkin jerky, man. This nigga crazy. Cheap liquor. I be drunk in 3 minutes. I got to be drunk dealing with this nigga. But that's how some of you niggas' minds and your hearts are, though. Wicked and evil, just like that. I do something about it. New year. Get your mind right. 1 John 3 and 5. You know he was manifested to take away our sins, and in him is no sin. Whosoever abide in him sin not. Whosoever sin have not seen him, neither known him. If you're going to be in the Messiah, you got to be new. Spirit, change, of God, born of God. You niggas satisfied with, I don't cuss no more. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be satisfied with little moral victory. I don't cuss no more. I think my attitude better. At least I don't lie no more. But you live a lie. You live a lie. I'm talking about nigga whole life stank like them Pampers Lizzie got on when she dropped a load. Just like this here. As soon as Lizzie came, you could, ooh, you stink. That's how the Lord feel with your works. Nigga, that stank. I don't want that. Smell like dookie. What I'm going to do with it? Matthew 5 and 17. And after that, we'll read Luke. Matter of fact, let's finish Galatians chapter 3. I'm sorry. Y'all all right? Yep. Now, praise the Lord. That's why we did it. What'd you say, Golden? Yes, sir. We'll start it at the top. O foolish Galatians, who have bewitched you that you should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Yahshua HaMashiach has been evidently set forth, crucified among you. This only what I learned of you. Receive you the Spirit by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith? Are you so foolish, having begun in the Spirit, you're now made perfect by the flesh? Have you suffered so many things in vain, if it be yet in vain? He therefore that minister you the Spirit, and work miracles among you, do we do it by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith? How did he tell you you would get that miracle of him sending down the Ruach HaKodesh? He that believe on me, as the scripture has said. So you can't get the Spirit by the works of the law. The works of the law come with that, only activated by your faith. By your faith, that's how you're going to get it. The just live by his faith. I've been wanting to deal with that for a good little minute. And Lord willing, it's going to come around now. He say, write it in the table and put it in the book, make it plain to him that reads. He said, he that lifted up his heart is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. That's why you keep seeing Yahshua say, I'm lowly in heart. My heart ain't lifted up in me. I'm the Son of God. I'm God. I wash my disciples' feet. I had nowhere to lay my head. Men spit on me, disrespected me. I never said nothing about it. When I seen people hungry, I fed them. When I seen them diseased and sickened, I healed them. We got one more place to look at since I mentioned that. Even as Abraham believed God, and it was accounted to him for righteousness. Know ye therefore that they which are the faith, the same are the children of Abraham. We see Yahshua said, everything my Father gave me a commandment, I know the commandment that he gave in life everlasting. He said, look at John chapter 11. Listen to what this man say he know, that he know his Father did. Then we look at Matthew 9. Then we look at Matthew 5. Then we read Luke chapter 2 one more time. And then we call it a wrap for the first sermon of the new year. Praise the Lord. Little stinkers. I see. This is on the proud. John 11 and 40. Make it 38. Yahshua, therefore, again groaning in himself, come to the grave. It was a cave, and a stone lay upon it. Yahshua said, take away the stone, Martha. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, saith unto him, Lord, by this time he stink, for he had been dead 4 days. Yahshua said unto her, said I not unto thee that if thou wilt believe, thou shalt see the glory of God? Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid, and Yahshua lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me, and I knew that thou hear me always. But because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they might believe that thou hast sent me. You know the only way you can sit back and know that the Father hear you always, because you know you are diligently, he's a reward of those who diligently seek him. Because he said, I'm about my Father's business, so you know he was seeking him. I'm about my issue. Yahshua basically like this here, I get it how I live. I get it by Kodesh, I'm going to get it by Kodesh. I get it how I live. That's how the Father do that, how I do. But you notice what he said? He said, if you would believe, you would see the glory of God. If y'all would just believe, you could see the glory of God and get what you're seeking after. You will be able to behold this man's face in righteousness when you awake, if you would just believe. But that evil heart of unbelief creeping in up on some of y'all. And I don't know now. The Lord had to show it right. Well, it's a good chance by the time we get to New Year's next time, Lord spare our life, some of y'all not going to be here. Some of you niggas would have been fired. Some of you niggas would have been done quit. God forbid that be the case. But we have to sit back and look at it. We sit back and let's look at New Year's last year. There are 3 people who were with us at this time last year that are not here. Don't y'all be sitting in the house talking about, he ain't talking about me. Because the minute you said that in your heart, yeah, he talking about you. The minute you reside in your heart, just know you judge yourself as knowing you on the borderline of getting put out or quitting. Because why would that thought arise in your head if it didn't pertain to you? You know what I'm talking about? If you know you ain't finna quit, you know you're going to do whatever you need to do to not get put out. The thought of, shoot, that ain't me, I ain't going to quit. Shoot, I ain't going to get put out. You a candidate. And I know one of you niggas it passed through your head. I know one of you passed through your head. Just know you better be careful. You're on dangerous ground. You judging yourself that you're going to quit or get put out. I didn't do it because I ain't put no name to it. Because I ain't had no name in mind. I was making a statement of realize to get you to get back and consider. There were 3 people who was with us around this time last year. And they quit. None of them were put out. They all quit. Now who gonna do that this year? Is everybody gonna still be here this time next year? Or will some have quit? Or will some have got put out? You gotta look at that. And if the thought came in your head, not me, yes you, and that means you need to get it together. Because that means you know you tread thin ice. When that thought come in your head and not me, you know you treading thin ice. You know you playing. You know you on the borderline of going by, and you just trying to keep that image up long enough because you don't want nobody to see it. But like I told y'all when it was informed to me about a man who was a minister in the congregation, he quit. So don't y'all be sitting around here thinking, oh, it ain't going to be me. Because you niggas know where your hearts be lined up at and what your hearts be going after. Don't y'all be sitting right here, I ain't do this to go to hell. Alright. Make sure that's your word and stick to it. Because I done told y'all, I didn't pick up this book to go to hell. I admit that. You know what I'm talking about? I could have went to hell in the street. I could have stayed doing just what I was doing to go to hell. It didn't make no sense to pick this up to go. You know what I'm talking about? That didn't make no sense. I could have stayed smoking my weed, hanging out. I'm talking about I could have been doing whatever I want to do yesterday afternoon. Nigga, it's NCAA tournament. I could have been watching basketball, getting green, doing whatever, and go to hell doing what I want to do. I wasn't going to pick this up and go to hell. That made no sense. None. Y'all need to keep that in mind. Matthew chapter 9. I didn't tell you this here because, man, I didn't tell you this here for you to consider. Just sit back and consider. You know, 9 and 20. You know, I don't point no fingers. If I want to put a name on it, you niggas know I'm gonna put your address on it. So please don't sit back sitting around talking about I wish he put a name on it. I'll put your name on it. Shame you in front of everybody if that would need to be done. And you know I do it. And I done did it the morning just my old lady. There's a couple of y'all I did it to. Please don't think I won't. And behold, a woman which was diseased with the issue of blood 12 years came behind him and touched the hem of his garment. For she said within herself, if I may but touch his garment, I shall be made whole. But Yahshua turned him about, and when he saw it, he said, daughter, be of good comfort, thy faith has made thee whole. And the woman was made whole from that hour. Did she get that because of works of the law or of her faith? And you know what that is? They'll take hold of him that is a Jew. I heard God is with you. Because ain't that what she just did? She just took the hold of him of your garment. I'm going to take the hold of the hem of him that is the skirt of a Jew. And say, I heard God is with you. And what did that come from? Faith, not works of the law. And guess what? That issue of blood that woman had for 12 years. Run it back round there to that woman in Judges chapter 19 where they cut her up in 12 pieces. And you wonder why this woman had an issue of blood for 12 years. Matthew 5 and 17. Get on out of here. Think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I come not to destroy but to fulfill. For truly I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Luke 2 and 49, one more time. And he said unto them, how is it that you sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my Father's business? And they understood not the saying which he spake unto them. That's the mind frame we need to have this year. Must I not be about my Father's business? Praise ye Yah for Yahshua HaMashiach. Y'all understood all these things this evening? Thank the Lord.